My dismissive avoidance should just grow up and stop disappearing into her own little world where she's taking care of her own needs and forgetting me. I mean, I'd never do that to her. I'm always thinking about what's important for her. This is exactly what we as therapists hear a lot about people who have dismissive avoidant partners. The thing is we recognize that us as anxious as children, we had that daydreaming state too. We loved it. We'd disappear into it. But we also learned that it wasn't healthy or safe to remain in that daydream because we had to snap out of it, become hypervigilant of other people's needs to remain safe. So as a result, over time, we kind of lost connection to that daydream state. Understanding that part of our pattern relied on being aware of other people's needs to feel safe. Just imagine though, as a dismissive avoidant child, you might have tried to self-abandon that way. But no matter how much you tried to create an exchange where you snapped out of your daydream state, no one ever showed up for you. There was no one who was interested in actually meeting any of your needs. So you just thought to yourself, forget it. I'll just remain daydreaming. In fact, I might prefer to daydream because that way I'm going to be less connected with the BS that's going on around me that's making me feel bad. Wouldn't that be more comfortable for a child to not even register the fact they're being neglected, abandoned, or even abused? To disassociate. Disassociation is purely going into daydream state. It's called alpha theta brainwaves, and we all are in that state generally up to the age of 7, taking on our inclinations. It's a free-for-all for the nervous system and the subconscious to express as it pleases. And we do take on all of our traits in that time. We also go into that state ourselves as adults every night before we go to sleep. So it's a very natural thing for us to do. But the thing is, a DA, they never grew out of it. And even as adults, they just flip into alpha theta brainwaves and that state of imagination whenever they choose to, not just when they're pushed into overwhelm, which yes, it is their defensive mechanism, so they're no longer aware of the threat that may be presented to them, or at least they perceive. But they may even slip into it just because they like it, or just because it's a normal part of their normal routine and pattern. Oh, I wish my dismissive avoidant partner would grow up and be more present. Yeah, you know what? Their nervous system's telling them that they shouldn't bother. Now, let's also recognize that these dismissives, are often extraordinarily productive individuals, really focused on singular things, and creative as well, quite often really connected to their creativity, and it all exists inside that moment where they're able to connect to their subconscious through alpha theta. Do we really want to deny them that? It is annoying that they go into that state, but there's parts about them that we love that we'd literally have to dismiss if we insist they stopped, even if they could, which they can't. Now let's also understand that we're attracted to them because they can do something we can't. There's always that attraction through polarity. Not only that, but we also recognize in them the part of us we left behind. We're yearning for that. We left behind that daydream, that free-for-all for the nervous system. We loved that part of ourselves, but we gave it away. So we see it in them and think, I love that so much. That's the part of me I miss so much. But then it gets annoying after a while. It's like, well, hold on now. How dare they? How dare they acknowledge and accommodate that thing that I gave up? I gave it up, so should they. I need to feel supported in my decision to have abandoned that part of myself, because the reality is that they're showing me a mirror of the reality that I didn't have to give it up, and I'd rather not see that. There's a challenge. You see, a dismissive partner is actually extraordinarily good at showing a mirror to us for the things potentially that we can reconnect to, because we as anxiouses do need to reconnect with parts of ourselves that we left behind that are replicated in the dismissive partner. If you would like to learn how not only to understand more about your dismissive partner, but how to reconnect with the parts of yourself that they represent, the parts that you love and eventually begin to hate. And when you do reconnect with that part of yourself, you'll be amazed how their behavior no longer troubles you. right? So reach out and connect, and we'll have a conversation.